Okay, but I focused on the preparations for the forthcoming 2019 general elections. Today we've got Chief Godson Okoye, who is a former presidential candidate, is the national chairman of UDP and the National Secretary Coalition for New Nigeria. So how are you combining these two caps?
Well, right now I'm wearing one. Well, good morning. Thanks for having me on the show.
Okay. If we go start off from some of those concerns we heard the former chairman of INEC raised about when political parties hold their meetings, in this case the world, local government and state congresses, he was still concerned about the kind of the way it turned out. He says, look, such violence in this world is concerning because if that happened intra-party, what then happens if they need to engage with other political parties and the country? So you thought by now that should have been history.
Well, thanks very much for that question. You see, I've said this so many times. Unless and until we define a national interest, we won't get it right. Personal, tribal, and religious interests will always be used as interests for the country. And it doesn't help. You can't have development that way. There is no way personal interest can be fostered on a country. And when you don't have national interest, that's why skirmishes like that happen at party congresses.
But that means when you have national interest, yes, personal interest it fizzles out.
Of course, the personal interest.
You don't personalize national interest.
No, it has to be aligned with the national interest.
Aligned.
That's the only way it can work. Because if, for instance, in a party, you have about maybe 100 contestants for a position, or 50 contestants, and all of them want to be governor, for instance, and all of them want to be president. So how do you marry all those personal interests? It is only when there is national interest that everybody will be told, listen, even if you have to be, these are the things we're doing for national development and growth. And the parties align with the national interest.
So does that suggest that, sorry to jump in,
yes,
does that suggest that no matter the kind of strategies or things we put in place in preparations for the forthcoming elections, if we don't get this right, we may just be papering over cracks?
That's part of the problem. We have to get it. We can't build something on nothing, unless you're a magician. The foundation of every country is the interest of that country. We don't have it. If you look through, you will see that's the missing gap. And the moment you have that lacune, you keep having recurring problems. It's a recurring decimal in our national, in our body politic. But having said that, yes, people are getting more enlightened, people are getting more educated, and and of course, you hear about a party that is called National Interest Party. One of these registered just a few months ago. So it is to drive home the fact that this thing is not there. The only thing that will have looked like national interest is about Chapter 2 of the Constitution, which is a directive principles of state policy. But at the end of it all, it says it's not justiciable. So you can't even go to court to litigate on them. But even if you had brought out 1, 2, 3 out of those and said everybody has to be committed to this, every organization, every political party in Nigeria must work towards this, over time it will sink in. But where you don't have that, it's a scramble. It is like God for us, every man for himself, God for us all. And that's what's been limiting our development. That's what's been creating this recurring problem. Because if you are interested in developing a country, it doesn't matter who is there. The important thing is, we are a political party, what are our interests as a party? It is to work towards that national interest. But the moment you don't have it, and that's why governments don't even also do the same thing.
Is it national interest, lack of national interest?
Yeah.
That's causing the injustice and
that's what they'll do, of course. That's what they'll do. And you have the national chairman of the former chairman of INEC say things like that. In the interactions we had with him when he was chairman, a number of times I told him about it. Okay, let me tell you. You are in a country, you have people that have money. But everybody waits for EU or Ford Foundation or some sundry organization like that to fund our political process. We have rich men here. A whole lot of them have accounts abroad. They have houses abroad, they have millions of dollars abroad, but nobody invests in the political process and education of the country. So how do you progress? And that's why everybody that is in an office personalizes it. How does it fit into the national discourse? These are the issues that, they look very innocuous, but these are the things that create problems.
I'd like you to shed some more light on when you started initially saying,
Yes.
does that suggest that those contestations you see within the members of the political party, why do you think that there isn't any national interest? Because some say, even if there is national interest, I still have to vie for offices or positions in my party. So vie for office.
Yeah, okay. If you vie for, if you all belong to a party and you are, normally a political party articulates interests of the people and then projects it. If you all believe in the same thing, why are you quarreling?
Isn't that normal? When you're vying
to
for
quarrel.
offices?
I mean, haven't we seen how these things are done in some civilized environment?
But
because they define their national interest, and everybody feels okay. Like in American Congresses, most times you don't even need to be a Republican to participate in the primaries, or Democrat for that matter. In some states, everybody participates in the primaries. So, but here, because in America, they know what their interests are.